On to the NFL. For some reason, Emerson decided to put this in here. Eagles signed Julio Jones. Do you think it means anything?
I just thought it was funny. I mean, you may have met him. His name is Octavio.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I've known him for.
Yeah. He posted something on his Instagram story saying, "Oh, we got Julio Jones now. It's over." Something like that.
Oh my
I'm like, really,
God.
dude? This guy hasn't been relevant in like 3 years.
That's Octavio being a troll.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's being him being uneducated.
I forgot that he's a Birds fan.
Yeah, it's pretty random of him, but yeah, I thought it was funny. But I mean, yeah, Eagles got. I don't even really understand where this came from.
What, him being a Birds fan?
No,
just
the
them
Eagles
signing.
going after Julio Jones. Like for what?
It's kind of maybe like a parachute's not coming out type situation. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Maybe they see more depth and.
I don't know. I mean, Julio Jones is a Hall of Fame wide receiver, so I guess I felt it was interesting. But the Eagles did fuck up this weekend. You want to tell us about it?
Speaking of the Eagles, they blow a 14-3 lead and lose to the Jets 20-14. Jalen Hurts did his best Dak Prescott impersonation with 3 interceptions. And, this was a really good weekend up until this point. Because we're going to get to it.
I'm done with you.
You don't understand. You do understand, but...
I hear you, but I don't.
It's just... The Eagles losing was the absolute worst situation on Sunday.
Because to me, like, you should hate the Eagles. Like,
No, I do.
yeah.
But I know that...
But I know you hate the Niners more.
The Cowboys don't have a legit chance. To me, the Eagles have more of a legit chance to beat the Niners. In the playoffs.
But does this loss not tell you, like, maybe the Eagles aren't what we thought they were? Just throwing that out.
Yes, I think the Eagles are not as good as they were, let's say, last year. But I still think head-to-head, they might have the mental game on the Niners.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just because the Niners have the mental game on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like, Niners are like, okay, this team is beating us.
What's your confidence level in the Cowboys winning at least one of the 2 games they play against the Eagles this season?
Like, out of 10?
Yeah.
Like a 7.
Okay.
I think
winning at least one.
I think they'll split with the Eagles.
Okay.
I won't say 10 out of 10. I'll say like a 7.5. Yes, from what I've seen, I'll say they'll win one of the games.
Because like even before this loss to the Jets, I think you could argue the Eagles haven't been terribly impressive, even though they were 5-0 going in.
I would agree.
Yeah.
They weren't like the Niners.
They weren't rolling on all cylinders like they did last season. I still think the Eagles are probably the favorite in the NFC.
Really?
Aside from all of what's happened. Yeah, I think even though Jalen Hurts probably just had his worst game in the last 2 years. He was amazing in the Super Bowl last year. We saw that.
He was fantastic.
It's hard to believe.
I forgot how good of a game he had. I think it's because it was what was going on at the time for us.
Yeah.
You look back and you're like, dude, this guy had
balled.
Probably one of the best games in a losing effort. Maybe besides Tom Brady when he lost to the Eagles when he threw for 500 yards.
Right. Yeah.
One of those games.
I mean, that game was different because Tom Brady was passing out of necessity because they were kind of behind most of the game. Mm-hmm. This was like the Eagles led most of that Super Bowl. Like he was just playing his game and going off.
And then Mahomes did his thing, which as a Niner fan very well.
Yep.
Not even trying to really do a dig.
No. I mean, yeah, he and the Chiefs, they were themselves. I think the fact that they got to the Super Bowl last year still give them the edge. Quarterback play is extremely important in the playoffs, and I have more confidence in Jalen Hurts than I do in Brock Purdy at this very moment.
Yeah,
based on experience, but who knows? We'll see what happens in the playoffs. We always got to wait and see, right?
Exactly. Speaking of Brock Purdy, him and his 49ers finally lost a game.
Yeah.
Lost to the Browns 19-17.
Probably Brock's worst game as a pro. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And the thing that's I think stinks the worst for him in this situation is not that he had a bad game, but that he did what you would consider necessary to win the game on the final drive and didn't get bailed out by his kicker.
Couldn't agree with you more. The what people would think about Brock Purdy if Jake Moody would hit that kick would be completely different than what it is right now.
Oh, 100%.
Right now it's like, are we sure he's the guy?
Right.
So for all of a sudden it takes just one loss in his career for him.
Yeah.
One loss that he plays from beginning to end.
Yeah.
To say, oh, is he the guy?
Right.
But if he does what he does and Jake Moody hits that kick, they're thinking, dude, this guy's he's like Tom Brady, Joe Montana. He can't be stopped.
Like he just has a bad game, and then on the last drive of the game, he leads his team to a game-winning field goal drive. That's what it was gonna be until Jake Moody missed a makeable kick. Now,
Thank you.
should we just absolutely positively expect a NFL kicker to make a
rookie
NFL
NFL
kicker to make a 41-yard field goal? I think that's like, to me,
where he was drafted. Yeah,
right. To me, that's like an 80% kick.
he was drafted what, third, fourth round?
Third round,
Third
which
round.
is like the highest the kicker's been drafted in quite a while.
Maybe besides dude from Florida State who went to the Buccaneers.
And he might not have even been third round.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but
You know what I'm talking about.
Eddie Aguayo, or whatever his name was. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think 49ers fans should be more worried about Jake Moody than they should be worried about Brock Purdy. I know,
which is funny because Jake Moody had made every kick in his career, or every
regular season kick,
up
right?
until that point.
Yeah,
and he missed 2 in that game.
Well, yeah, up until the game. Yeah. Now the first one was like, and here's the other thing too. Both kicks he missed he struck them well. The first one just kind of
I didn't see the first one.
First one just kind of curled left, and it was like a 50-something yarder, so it wasn't like it was a chip shot.
No.
Just missed, and then the other one just kind of faded off to the right. So I hope that from Niners fans' perspective, they don't just like think that he's just not clutch because he missed a kick. I mean, it's just a way of it's part of being a kicker.
You're on the road. The weather is shitty.
Yeah.
And it's pressure. I mean, I'm sure he's kicked in a lot of pressure games at Michigan, but this is a different animal.
Right.
You're in the NFL. People expect you to make that kick.
Right.
And, I kind of did too. Like when Brock Purdy brought the Niners down, in the field goal range, I'm thinking to myself, Jake Moody's going to nail this. It's going to be, Niners best team in the league, which they probably still are, in my opinion. And, when wins their next loss?
Right.
In Philly, week 13.
The only reason I didn't have some kind of confidence in it is because he did miss a kick early in the game. But even that, like I said, it was like a 50-something yarder. So it's, that's the first kind of gimme-ish kick. I mean, you expect NFL kickers to make something inside 45 yards.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way it is. They don't make them 100% of the time, but probably 90,
Mm-hmm.
And a pressure kick from 41 yards, I believe it was, you'd think that's probably 80% of the time. So, tough one for him. My only hope is that he can get a situation like that as soon as possible, like ASAP. And, and maybe that can tell us something more about him, because I don't think we can come to a conclusion after one time, one try in a clutch situation.
No.
And similar with Brock, I don't think we could just come to a conclusion after one tough game. And even like Greg Cosell, who probably analyzes the game more than anyone, and more than anyone, was like, actually, I don't even think he had that bad of a game. He had a throw to Brandon Ayuk early in the game where Ayuk just he called it one of the best throws he's ever seen Brock Purdy make. Went off of Brandon Ayuk's hands, could have been maybe a touchdown for like 70 yards.
You guys are going to be fine.
I'm not too worried. It's a tough loss to take. I mean, you're playing the Browns.
You're playing the Browns with a former XFL quarterback.
Yeah.
No Nick Chubb. And that defense is for real.
The defense played really well.
It's one of the best defenses up to this point
Yeah.
of all time, according to what I've heard. So at least as a Niner fan perspective, and even me being a football guy perspective, you guys lost, but at least you lost to arguably, as of this point, the best defense in the league.
Right. And
on the road.
Yeah. This doesn't necessarily do Brock any justice, but you have to factor in the point that Christian McCaffrey was basically out for the second half of the game, and Deebo Samuel was out for like 3/4 of the game.
Trent Williams also.
And Trent Williams, he came back in the game,
I think he did.
and then I think he left again. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. But yeah, Deebo and McCaffrey missed a good chunk of that game. So, I think it's a tough loss, but I'm not going to sweat too much about it.
No.
It's one that we could have and should have had. Easily could be 6-0. We're pretty fortunate the Eagles lost, and there's no more undefeated teams left.
Who you guys got this week?
Niners play the Vikings on Monday night.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Monday.
I think I like the Niners. I mean, the Niners are -7 on the road in that game. I think that's a. If the Niners lose, that would be a really tough one to swallow. That would be a tougher one to swallow than the Browns. Look at this catch by Calvin Ridley.
You think he caught that?
It's really hard to say.
I hope he didn't, because
that's fantasy points against you.
Yes, it is. I think they're saying it's not.
Yeah. Hell of an effort, though.
Absolutely.
Cowboys.
On to the Cowboys.
Winners.
I hate to say a must-win in Week 6, but that was a must-win game in my opinion.
Well, the difference between being a 3-3 team versus a 4-2 team that's one game out of the division, it's huge.
Absolutely.
I don't care what your pessimism is.
And I do agree, and I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that Eagles lost, Cowboys win, boom, we're right back into it.
You're right there. I mean,
right there.
And you get to play the Eagles twice. Not saying you're going to win both of them, but you get that opportunity.
And I thought this game was so important for the Cowboys to win, not only because of the ass whooping the week before. And let me tell you, this was the longest week in between games that I can remember it being a fan. It just felt like, I mean, obviously it was a long week.
Yeah.
Because it was Sunday to Monday. Technically it was a long week, but it just felt like, God, I listened to the radio and it'd be like a Friday and they still be talking about the Cowboys game. I'm like, dude, it's over. Stop talking about the Niners and the Cowboys. It was tough. And to start the game, I believe the Cowboys went 3-0, and I'm like, here we go again. Yeah. This is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't the case. I don't think this game was pretty on either side, Cowboys, Chargers.
Herbert had his mistakes, for sure.
11 penalties by the Cowboys, and I felt like a lot of these were on defense, and they got to figure that out. I hate getting holding penalties, PI penalties on third down.
Penalties by the secondary are the most frustrating.
I can't even.
Yeah. 2 years ago, the Niners led the league in pass interference penalties, and it was just I wanted to flip something over every time I saw one.
It's bad. 20 penalties in total.
That's a lot. That's too many.
That's way too many. It was just a lot of laundry getting thrown on the field. Hate to see it. I thought Dak played well, especially after, like I said last week, he actually ran the ball a little more than I thought.
Yeah.
I like him doing that. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but he can. I mean, see him at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
He was like Tim Tebow.
He'd run, yeah. If the lane is there, I mean, I think quarterbacks need to do it more often.
100%.
Yeah, especially like on third downs.
And like I said, going into the bye week, this would have been a nightmare for the Cowboys if they would have lost this game, I think.
Yeah.
It would have been, the media would have been all over him. What's wrong with the Cowboys? Mike McCarthy, is he out already? Dak, is he that dude? No, he's not, but is he that dude?
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb had a good game. Happy for him. He was talking his shit earlier in the week. Had a good game. Brandon Cooks finally got a touchdown, which they have to utilize that man more.
Yeah.
He's not like... he's not a tier 1 guy, but he can make some plays.
I didn't watch this game super closely, but they had a little jet sweep with him coming off the edge, and I'm like, damn, this dude still can fly for kind of an older receiver.
Absolutely.
Right?
Micah Parsons, late in the game, had his first sack of the game. Couldn't happen at a better time. And then Stephon Gilmore.
Nice pick.
Had the pick.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like a push-off. They didn't call it.
Yeah. I mean, take what you can get, man.
And it's on the road against what I think is a good quarterback. I know he had a bad game.
Yeah, that was definitely not Justin Herbert's finest game. But
I mean, of course, that's what people are going to say. Like, oh, the Cowboys beat a good quarterback, but of course, just for that game, he had a bad game. You know what I mean?
But you can say the Cowboys influenced some of that.
Yeah, the defense
as well. Yeah.
Defense is good. So, good news is for the Cowboys this week. They're not going to lose.
Undefeated in Week 7.
Undefeated in Week 7. Let's go. Let's go.
I think the Cowboys are in about as... I mean, the thing you have to always do, I know you want to win every single week, especially when you get off to a good start, but you kind of got to look in the mirror and say, would I have asked to be 4-2 to start the season? Would I take that? Even though you lost to the Cardinals, that's a team you would have liked to have beaten.
I even think through the first 6 weeks you would say 4-2 is because you probably would have said to yourself, or at least being me, you're going to lose to the Niners, you're going to lose to probably the Chargers, and that still puts you 4-2.
There you go. Yeah.
They didn't lose to the Chargers, they lost to the Cardinals, but they're still 4-2.
Yeah, and I think even though the Cardinals are 1-5, they have been a little more impressive than I think even the average team would think. You know?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm feeling good. I don't know who they play off the bye. I can't remember.
Isn't the Eagles?
Ooh.
I know the Eagles are coming up. The Cowboys-Eagles is coming up soon. I'll do
Is it?
I'll do as quick of research as I can on this.
I don't know if it's the Eagles. It might be.
No, they play the Rams,
Which will be a tough matchup.
and then they play I think they play the Eagles the week after that.
Go down to
Yeah.
the stretch of. The stretch of Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. That is a gauntlet right there.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys can win 3 of those, I'll be feeling fantastic.
Yeah, so the rest of the season is,
It's not nice.
even like the Commanders are divisional games and they're playing, some tough ball.
I would say the Cowboys will probably even split with the Commanders.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at all. They got a tough road.
That's a second place schedule.
Right? I think 10 wins is like
That's what I said. I said 10
Fingers crossed
10
on
and
that.
7 was
yeah.
what I thought. That's gonna be a gauntlet.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys to me are better than the Rams.
They should.
Now is it a gimme win? No, but like they're to me they're definitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Players of the week. Player of the week? Who do you got?
Okay, so I tried not to do this, but I couldn't help myself. I'm going double player of the week, and I feel kind of stupid for doing it, but I'm taking 2 Browns defensive players on this one. One is Anthony Walker, who's number 94 defensive lineman, who he wrecked every offensive lineman that he went against, against the Niners on seemingly every play. Mm-hmm. He was in the backfield before the fucking snap. He didn't even register that many stats, but he was just wreaking havoc and opening up holes for other guys to make plays.
Okay.
Because the Niners were behind the sticks fucking every drive, it seemed like, in the second half, and he was a huge part of that. And the other guy would be Martin Emerson Jr. I love his name, obviously. His last name is Emerson.
If the Niners ever get this guy, you need to get a jersey.
I might even get a Browns one because it says Emerson Jr. on the back.
It'd
be like you and Russell Gage.
Yeah.
Since he's Gage
Right.
Jr.
Yeah.
I think it'd be perfect. I'd even think about getting, if I could, get a child's version
or
for my son.
Or throwback Justin Gage.
There you go. Ooh.
That's 1 foot.
That's out of balance. This ain't college, Michael.
Oh,
They're going to give it to him.
Should have been Chris Olave.
Yeah. But, so I'm going to give it to those guys. Martin Emerson had a huge pick the only pick that Brock Purdy's thrown this season goes to Martin Emerson. So, tipping my cap to those guys.
Can my player of the week be Jake Moody?
You're a prick.
No, it's not.
I thought no losing efforts, dude.
I put Jake Moody question marks. Mine's going to be Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, that's a good call. I thought about him, too.
He's on.
That is going to be out of. Oh, because the knee. Oh, good call, Cage.
1 knee equals 2 feet.
But was the knee on the line?
No, I don't think so. Let's see. No.
Ooh, man, that's close, though.
Raheem Mostert. On my fantasy team. I still lost this week. It's okay. 115 yards, rushing, 2 touchdowns.
Did you play him for the first time?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
And he's been going off all year.
I know. 1 receiving touchdown, also. The receiving yards weren't much to talk about.
Yeah, but he got in the end zone, though. Saints just had this game, by the way. We are watching the Saints and Jaguars. It's now 24-24.
Also, Raheem Mostert, former Niner legend.
I mean, fucking, 4 touchdown game in the NFC Championship?
It's pretty good.
I'll give him legend status for that.
Should have been in the Super Bowl for you guys, but it's a different story.
Yeah. We know how that goes.
Yeah,
Nice player of the week.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well done.
Yours too. I went defense last week.
Yeah. I kind of was scrolling through guys on offense. I'm like, no one, Mostert would be the guy, but no one really went off, so I went defense. The reason I was hesitant on it is because it's the one game I really watched this week. But
that was kind of my thing with the Cowboys last week, and their linebacker. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name for the Niners.
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner.
Yeah.
I picked him, like I said last week. He didn't have
because he killed your team.
Yeah, he didn't wow the stat sheet, but watching him, he's all over the place.
Yeah.
So I understand why you win defense against.
Yeah.
Against
I mean,
your-
I would say for sure, Walker, I did the homer with Emerson, because it's my boy.
You got to get one, even though jerseys are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Has he played anywhere else?
I think he's only been on the Browns because I remember seeing his name like a year or two ago.
And have you ever seen anybody with your name or like their last name is your first name?
Well, in soccer, yeah, there's a couple.
I guess I meant in the
Yeah.
NFL.
But not in the NFL, no.
That'd be kind of
I honestly thought because there's a guy named Emerson who plays for. He used to play for Chelsea. Now he plays for. God, where did he move to? Like maybe Milan or something like that. And he just wears Emerson on his back, but that's his first name.
That's pretty cool.
All right, it's time to recap the Week 6 picks.
Do we have to?
We do. I'm sorry, Gage. I know you didn't have your best week. You didn't have really a week at all.
No, it was bad.
0-3.
My worst week by far of the season.
Yeah. 0-3. Let's get this dialed in, Emerson. Come on. What are we doing here, bud?
Come on, Emerson Jr.
Emerson Jr. Martin Emerson Jr. Yeah, lost on the Niners, of course, -7. They did not even win the game.
They didn't?
No. The other one would be the Chargers, +2.5. You lost by 0.5 point on that one. Sorry, but I'm sure you're not mad about the Cowboys.
It was
Cowboys winning.
kind of a win-win.
Yeah. And then we went head-to-head on Seahawks, Bengals. I got you on that one.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers.
So 0-3, -$600 for Gage. Oof. But still looking okay overall. For myself, I did lose my $300 game. Atlanta shit the bed against Washington. Nice.
Commanders.
Yep, go Commanders. I did score on Detroit -3.5 against the Bucks, and then, like we said, the Bengals versus the Seahawks. So I went 2-1, but scored $0. Overall standings, Gage, you are now 11-7, so plus $600 in the books. I'm 10-7-1, only plus $100.
Bad week for me, man. Really bad week.
That's okay. You're still 4 games over 500. Have a chance to bounce back. Who you got this week?
So for my $300 bet, I got Dolphins plus 2.5 against Philly.
That's going to be probably the best game of Sunday.
Game of the week. Actually, my next pick one of my other picks might be game of the week too.
That's another good one. I think I like Philly and Miami just a tad better, though.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, that's right.
My $200 pick. I'm going Browns, coming off a good win against the Niners, -3 against the Gardner Minshew-led Colts. Call me crazy.
PJ Walker, Gardner Minshew, you take your pick.
That's a turd sandwich. And then my $100 bet, I'm going Lions +3 against the Ravens. That could be a game of the week.
That's another good one.
Potential too.
Another real good
Did
one.
you know Lamar Jackson is 15-1 against NFC teams?
That's insane.
I saw that in Sports Center.
It's going to be 15-2. That's crazy. I would like to know what NFC teams he's faced and then like,
Derek Carr,
Derek Carr's going to throw up.
groin. Anyways,
I'd like to know what NFC teams he's played and in what.
what team beat him?
Yeah.
I don't know what team.
Yeah. My 3 picks are going to be Kansas City -5.5 against the Chargers. That's my $300 bet. $200 bet is going to be the Bucks -2.5 against the Falcons. And then I'm also taking with my $100 bet the Broncos +1 against the Packers.
Okay.
I think the Broncos have got to get in the win column here.
That's right.
They're not trying. Yeah, they're not trying to lose. They're not like the other 1-5 teams out there. They're actually trying to win.
That's why I feel good about Russ being my quarterback, because he needs to sling it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he might throw picks, but he needs to sling the ball.
Right. All my teams are at home, so I feel good about these numbers here. Kansas City hasn't shown what they're capable of, kind of similar to what we've seen from Philly. So against a division foe, I like Andy Reid to come out, guns a-blazing. Patrick Mahomes, big game. Give me all $600, baby.
You wish. You wish.
I need it.
You do.
I need it. SpongeBob reference.
Of course. You didn't watch SpongeBob growing up, though.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I did. Hell yeah.
Your mom let you watch SpongeBob?
Why not?
Nah,
They weren't actually stoned on the show.
no,
It just seemed like it.
the creators. The creators.
Creators.
Creators probably were.
Uh,